Hi, and welcome to AOTA's Federal Affairs team, How to Conduct a Congressional Meeting. Today, we are going to be walking you through what a typical meeting for your 2018 Hill Day will look like. But first, let's introduce ourselves. My name's Jill Ty, and I'm the Grassroots and PAC Specialist here at AOTA.
Hi, I'm Heather Parsons. I'm the Associate Chief Officer for Federal Affairs.
And I'm Andy Bope, Senior Legislative Representative.
And Abe Saffer, Legislative Representative.
All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is introduce yourself and where you represent, either your school or place of business. Now, keep in mind, these meetings are going to be real quick, 15 minutes tops, so you don't want to spend all 15 minutes introducing yourselves. In bigger meetings, you're going to want to do something that's a quick, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a constituent, and go around the room. In larger meetings, it might also be better to choose one or two people to do most of the talking, so that you can include introductions and all the issues. Make sure that you say that you are a constituent of the person you're meeting with, and then they will put more credence to your words. Now that your introductions are done, it's important that you introduce occupational therapy to the person you're meeting with. Now, they may know what it is, but not everyone is familiar. So it's always important to really start the meeting with, are you familiar with occupational therapy? Even if they say they are, you can explain in your own words what OT does and how it helps people across the lifespan live their life to the fullest. It's always good to give your story and a quick elevator speech and make it personal. Now, if you've done your homework, which we've assigned for Hill Day, that'll be second nature to you. You'll have it all set. If you haven't yet, there are resources on AOTA's Hill Day page that you can go through that can help you build that personal elevator speech or story. And don't be afraid to ask others in the group or your teachers for an example of this elevator speech ahead of time if you need help. Now that you've set the stage, you've introduced yourself and occupational therapy, you can move into talking about the issues. And we will be posting briefing materials / homework on those issues to help you familiarize yourself with them before Hill Day. We've included talking points and one-pagers. Talking points are for you. They're bullet points to help you make your case for the issue. They're to guide the discussion. One-pagers are for the legislator, and you'll be picking those up at Hill Day. They'll be in a little folder. There will be one for each meeting, so only one person in each meeting needs them. That being said, everyone will have copies in their attendee packet. So all the bases are covered, you've got everything you need, but you'll be able to review all those things before Hill Day because we'll be posting them online shortly. All right, and now we are going to role play what a congressional meeting is going to look like. So I'm going to play the staffer, and often staffers have their phones out on the table, so there we are. And Heather, Abe, and Andy have come in to lobby me to talk to my boss about occupational therapy. Shelley? All right.
Hi, my name is Heather Parsons.
Hi.
I'm currently a student at UNC Chapel Hill.
Awesome. I'm Jill Ty, I'm legislative assistant.
I'm Andy Bope. I work at a home health agency.
Nice to meet you.
Abe Saffer, and I am in the school system in the Congressman's district.
Cool. All right, so what's going on?
So we're here to talk about occupational therapy today, and so I guess our first question is, how familiar are you with occupational therapy?
Is that like physical therapy?
Well, so we work a lot with physical therapists, but we're also a rehabilitation profession, but
Gotcha.
our focus is really on helping people achieve what they need or want to do with their time. Now, typically that's because of an illness or an injury. So if you think about everything that you did to get ready for work today, from getting up, getting dressed, making breakfast, traveling here, those are all the kinds of things that OT would help you do if for some reason you lost the ability to do those things. So we work cradle to grave with people with mental illness, people with physical disabilities, with acute injuries, but really with that focus to help people engage in those things that they want to do.
Cool. So that sounds like a lot of good stuff. So what can I do for you? Now that we've done introductions, we're going to go into the issues. So we'll start with Andy with home health.
I'm Andy, and I work at a home health facility in your district. I was wondering, how familiar are you with home health and OT being provided there?
Reasonably so. Enough to know some stuff about home health.
Okay. There's an issue that we want to bring to your attention. It's fairly difficult when you have to open a home health case. There are certain restrictions which CMS places, which really prevent OTs from being able to open the home health case, which means they can't do the initial evaluation or the comprehensive evaluation.
Gotcha.
So it's fairly difficult for our agency because we have a small group of therapists. You have to do that first home health initial evaluation within 48 hours.
Okay.
And then the comprehensive you have 5 days, but that's still kind of a limited time. We're in a fairly rural district, so when we go out and do things, I can drive maybe 150 miles per day.
Oof.
So we have a lot of scheduling issues brought up by that restriction, and there's really no reason for it. We've gone to CMS a number of times asking them to change it, but they really haven't responded one way or the other. So what this bill would do would essentially say that OTs can open the home health case. It wouldn't apply if nursing's involved, so it really only applies in about 10% of the cases. But it would really simplify things and make it better for patients. They can see their OT, get their services sooner, and we know that it really doesn't cost anything. We've seen,
Okay.
CBO scored it a number of years ago, and it was found to have no impact on the budget.
Gotcha.
So we always hear
great.
coming to the Hill, it's kind of tough if you have to seek a bill that requires spending, but this doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay. What we're doing, we're hoping that there's a bill for the House bill. It's HR 6225, which is bipartisan. We're hoping that the congressman might be able to co-sponsor that bill. It's also supported by all the groups, the physical therapy groups and the speech language pathology groups, so it's not the type of issue where we're competing with other therapy groups.
Oh, that's really good to hear. All right, then I will take that to my boss because I think that he would like to hear about it.
Outstanding. Appreciate that.
All right.
A common question you might get on the home health topic would be, why doesn't this cost anything? Why wouldn't it increase the score? The reality is people are already receiving OT services along with PT, along with SLP, and along with nursing. If this bill were to pass, that wouldn't change that. You could not then receive OT services only by passage of this bill. All it would really do is simplify the opening of the case. So it really would not increase the score, and the CBO found this to be the case.
And the next issue we're going to talk about is support for robust funding of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA.
Hi, so my name is Abe, and I am a OT in a middle school, which is actually right down the street from the congressman's where he lives.
Cool.
I want to talk a little bit about what occupational therapists do. So we're one of the related services under IDEA, so we provide help not just with academics, but also on the social side and everything from play to even self-care needs, including feeding, eating, and dressing.
Gotcha.
Helping a student who needs help in the self-regulatory space, being able to control emotions or outbursts or anything like that regarding their disability.
Okay.
And so that's where we really work to keep a student in the classroom as much as possible.
Gotcha.
Right now, IDEA is funded at less than half of what the bill itself called for, which was 40% of the cost of educating a student with special needs, with a disability. Right now, it's below 17%, and so there's a dramatic need to increase funding there. What we're looking for and what we're hoping that the congressman and your boss will support is to support the funding bill that passed this year, and thank you for supporting it and being able to get an increase this year, but hopefully in years that come next that we get a bigger funding increase to actually try to match where what the bill called for in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. We're committed to that.
So one thing that might change between now and on Hill Day is that October 1st is actually the start of the new fiscal year for Congress. And so right now Congress is on a good path to actually pass the bill that funds IDEA at about $13.5 billion by that date. But if that isn't the case, then what we're going to be doing is telling you to switch up the thank you a little bit to more do a support increased funding this year and in subsequent years. But most likely it'll be a thank you for your support in funding it at this level this year, and we hope to increase it in the years to come.
And so Abe, I had a question. Is that the level that they're funding it, is that currently an increase? Is it a big increase?
It is an increase of about $200 million, but out of $13.5 billion, it's not keeping pace with what it needs to be.
And the third issue we're going to be discussing is the opioid crisis and OT's role in managing it.
All right, thank you. So our last issue, I wanted to talk about the opioid crisis and the role that OT has. It may not be something that you naturally think of. I know that the House and Senate have passed a lot of different legislation to address the opioid crisis, and so I wanted to talk specifically about our role as part of the integrated treatment team for pain management. That's in both acute and with acute and chronic pain. Occupational therapy has long been a key part of those teams, especially when it comes to rehab for chronic pain. So OT focuses on helping people participate in their daily activities, but really it's about participating in those activities that are important to the individual. And those are activities that would be limited by pain. So the more a person can't do what they want because of the pain, the more they also feel the pain because they're not able to engage in what's meaningful to them. So that's one of the things we do is help break the cycle of decreased activity, which in turn increases how the person perceives pain. So OT practitioners might teach someone to pace their activities so that they have enough energy or are pain-free for what's most important to them.
Gotcha.
So if someone wants to go to their grandchild's birthday party and also wants to clean their house, the OT may have taught them problem solving to wait and go to the birthday party instead of cleaning the house first, because by the time they clean the house, they may be so tired or in such pain that they're unable to go to that really important celebration for them. So it's about problem solving, but they also teach safe body mechanics, good ergonomics, how to reduce muscle tension, and really proactively solve how to handle their chronic pain. So really OT is a necessary and core part of any comprehensive non-pharmacological pain program, and we're really in those pain rehab programs across the country.
Great.
So as Congress is considering legislation, our first task is to make sure that occupational therapy is included in any of those sort of non-opioid treatments for pain. There are 3 bills that we're supporting. In the House, there's the Combating Opioid Abuse Care in Hospitals, which is the COACH Act, which has passed the House, and that is looking at best practices for reducing use of opiates in acute care hospitals. There's also HR 6110, which is the Todd Graham Pain Management Treatment and Recovery Act, which really is looking at how does Medicare incentivize the use of opioids or not incentivize other alternatives. So it's really a report to say what are best practices, and that does include looking at other alternatives such as occupational therapy.
Gotcha.
And then finally the bill passed by the Senate, the Opioid Crisis Response Act, that also is helping states look at how they can use Medicaid to support these non-opioid therapies, including OT.
Gotcha.
So we really urge Congress to pass all of these bills. We know they're close, but they need to go ahead and get it signed into law before the end of the year. And really, as Congress continues to look at the opioids crisis, we want them to always consider occupational therapy and the role that it can play.
Great.
So right as of recording, the House has passed 2 bills, and the Senate is set this week to consider that final bill, the Opioid Crisis Response Act. It doesn't have a number yet. It will, so that will be in the materials. Will update that as we go. We'll be sure to add that to the materials available on the webpage. We're getting intel that Congress is not going to pass final legislation until after the elections. So we really want to make sure that no matter what the outcome of the elections, that they are committed to making sure that this legislation passes in November or December. So that's one of our big asks. But this is an issue Congress is going to be looking at for many years, and it's important for people to know the role that we can play. They're really looking at how do we use things that don't involve opioids to treat pain. So it's a great reminder that we're part of that.
The staff might have questions for you about the legislation or the profession in general, and this is good. It shows their interest. Answer them to the best of your ability and knowledge, but don't be discouraged if you don't know the answer. I don't know or I'm not sure are fine, but always follow it up with I can find out for you. That shows initiative, and it shows that you're willing to be a resource to your member of Congress because you're the expert, and it's important that you are willing and in contact with your member of Congress.
You can always, in your folder, there's going to be a card for one of us, so you can always let them know that there is contact information for us, but it is better if you as the constituent can take their questions and get back to them, but either is fine. Also, it is okay, as Jill mentioned, you're going to have talking points. You may have seen me looking at my talking points during our session. It is fine to follow those talking points. It's also fine to refer them to the one-pagers, which you will be leaving behind with them. And for each of these issues, there's also a fact sheet that sort of ties in. So there's lots of information in the folder if they need those to go back and look at.
In addition, if after your meeting the staffer expresses interest in, let's say, co-sponsoring the health bill or actively supporting any of these initiatives, drop us a line, let us know, just send it to our email address, because then we can also follow up on that from here. So it's great that you also follow up specifically on questions, but we're also here to help you as needed.
And that brings us to the end of your meeting. At the end of your meeting, make sure you thank the staff for their time and find out if they have any questions. Make sure you take their card, and if you have one, give them yours. And again, if you don't have a card, it's okay, because we have cards in the folders for our contact info. In addition, you're always going to want to follow up with your staffer or a member of Congress by sending a thank you letter directly to them, noting the issues you talked about and making sure that you offer yourself as a resource, because you're building a relationship with your member of Congress and their staff. So without further ado, we're going to show you what it looks like when you end a meeting. All right, is that it?
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate your time. We hope that the congressman can be supportive of our issues. What is the best way to follow up with you?
Email. My card is out front by the front desk, so you'll be able to grab one of those.
Great.
All right.
Okay. Did you have any other questions for us?
I can't say that I did. It's all pretty clear.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, have good ones. And then I'm going to take this.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. I'll give it to my boss.
Okay.
We hope this video was helpful. Please keep in mind that you are the experts. You'll be talking about OT, and that's your profession. It's a chance to talk about your career and why the profession is important, and ultimately what Congress can do to ensure that you are able to practice and provide therapy to patients at the highest level. You are the expert on OT. You don't have to be the expert on legislation. We are your backstop. So we are here to back you up. If you have questions that you can't answer for your member of Congress, you can always follow up with us. In addition, if you don't hit all 3 issues, that's okay. Again, you can follow up with the rest of the issues when connecting back again with your member of Congress. Your members of Congress and their staff represent you. So it is very important that you are the one that is giving them information. They'll only be able to represent you in a complete way if you tell them what you need. So thanks for viewing our video, and if you have any questions, you can always email us at fad@aota.org. Thanks so much.
Thanks for being a part of Hill Day.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.